How have the past few weeks since we had the last episode been?
I felt a lot more disconnected to you.
Mm,
So I didn't necessarily feel that we had the same momentum
yeah,
as we had in the first 3 months. I noticed that we were not necessarily holding us to the things that we said we're going to do.
mm,
I didn't receive many paintings. I was
mm,
like, on my side, I just purely for me speaking, I have been a little bit disconnected, not just from you, like also other people, and
yeah,
I acknowledge that there's a few connections where I felt like could have stepped in more.
mm,
Very present in certain parts of my life, not very present in others, and I'm trying to find a middle ground, but
mm,
also not beat myself up too much for it. Very present at work, very present in working out, cycling.
mm,
Has like we spent a week in Mallorca.
mm,
It was gorgeous, hard. I came back with a lot of fitness. Now that's 3 weeks ago, so the gym is 3, 4 times per week. Everything
mm,
is good there. Work is good. Um, Feminine energy in my life is good.
mm,
I'm not complaining about anything. I just know that in certain areas I could just. I noticed today, like actually, I realized that whenever I'm too comfortable in an area
mm,
and when things seem too easy, that I'm slacking a little bit, and I want to just keep myself off the autopilot and really be snapped on.
mm,
On the men's work side, I'm feeling quite content because I joined a few initiatives and thinking about my own things as well, like outside what I could be outside of this forum. And I'm feeling quite content because I'm thinking about this quite creatively.
mm.
And that's, I think, it. Like, yeah, just being present, flirting with the world, training, looking after others, trying not to be concerned too much with the future. So also the unpreparedness today was fine.
Nice. Yeah, I feel you. So from my side, I feel like I've definitely let a lot go recently. And I think that's for the better for the short term because I needed to grieve the end of something.
Mm,
A lot of, particularly my paintings, was attached to something. And since that thing ended, I need to find now a new drive,
mm,
something to look forward to, something to I need to set myself up with a new exhibition and push work for myself a bit more,
mm,
which I'm going to give myself a few more days of grieving and then I'm going to start again on it. But I feel there was not enough painting sent, and work was a bit of part of that, and the end of a project was a part of that.
mm. Do you feel a dependency on like a goal to
Mm,
work?
yeah, I'm very like I feel like I just work better with a goal at the
Mm,
end because then I'm working towards something.
yes.
Yeah.
And your goals have shifted quite a bit over the last few months, right? Like you
Yeah.
came here with the like wanting to have a home.
That's
Like,
still like one of my primary goals for sure. Yeah.
but it became less in your face, right? Like it's less of a topic day to day. Like
Yes, it's not like a pressing now issue, which is nice.
mm,
And it's attached itself to an idea that I want in the future. I want home and the school that I'm trying to build to be one, which
mm,
gives it a bit more. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So today we're going to discuss kind of the dynamics between a few things. What do you think of control? Like, how does it relate to you? How does it relate to your life?
I am very aware that I have none,
Mm-hmm.
and I am very aware that I have all the control.
Okay. Yeah.
So the I think Alan Watts said that very nicely at some point. He said like you need to be aware that you're absolutely powerless, but you're also God. And
Mm-hmm.
that sounds terrible, but I really believe in that. It's like you can make someone's day, you can also ruin someone's day. And you can do that with like one thought that goes left or right. So I'm absolutely powerless, but I also have all the power and control.
How does being powerful feel to you?
Being in control and powerful are then two separate things, though. It's like, is it about control or
It's
power
about
now?
power now, yeah.
I mean, I don't. Powerful is a very. I don't like to use that a lot. Being, I can like being in control. I can define more.
Okay.
Like for like being in control means that you're aware of like how things are going at the moment within you and outside of you.
Yeah.
And being able to just sit with that, and like I feel you can't be any more in control than that. Like that doesn't mean that you actually direct things, but you are at least aware and you're not letting things just flow by. So I feel like the opposite of being in control is being on autopilot, when you just sit on the tube, you scroll through Instagram, and you are not really aware of what's happening. And being in control is when you are on your way to your destination and you're just sitting with things, and maybe I now want to contemplate about my life, and then I make a decision to contemplate on my life, and then my mind wanders for like 20 minutes. That's fine. But I made a decision for that beforehand instead of just letting it flow.
So there's a lot of like, you relate being conscious to control.
Yes.
So your decisions around how conscious you are how much you're in control, and then your decisions of how unconscious are how little you're in control.
Yes.
Do you feel like a lot of the loss of control in the last few weeks, do you feel like you can point to moments where you lost control, or how do you relate to that?
I'm losing control much less. Like, especially in the last few weeks, I can't point to many. I know like maybe one or two instances where I felt like not very like on top of things.
Yeah.
And sometimes they were pointed out to me, which I quite enjoyed.
Yeah.
But it's not then feeling about, oh my God, I'm losing control. It's more like, oh, I was not really here. And but it's like correlated. Control is not important to me.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I don't really feel like any feelings about it, because it's like,
so consciousness is important to you.
Yes.
Okay. And what stemmed from that lack of control? What stemmed, that you said there were two moments and they were pointed out. What was the root of whatever that was?
Comfort.
Comfort. Yeah. You wanted to slip back into comfort?
No, like I don't. So whenever, like, no, it's actually extreme comfort or extreme discomfort. Like whenever whenever something is so incredibly overwhelming, like it can be anything, like work, being stressed with something, you go into unconsciousness.
Yeah.
And losing control. You're like scrolling for hours. Like I have one particular day where my screen time was like at 8 hours, which has not happened in more than 6 months. And that day was specifically when like deadlines were coming, and I'm like, my brain was distracting myself from like potential failing, potential not being enough, potential like, am I really able to figure all this out? And the other one was extreme comfort and feelings like I felt seen, I felt loved, I felt very in tune with my body and everything else, and I was just carried away by comfort.
So the day you spent 8 hours on your phone, so you were deflecting, or you were trying to avoid something, or you were trying to not feel like you were not enough for this goal, this deadline coming up. What made you gravitate towards your phone? Because you said like that hasn't happened in a very long time. What Like, what would have the alternative been if it hadn't been your phone?
I think it's very obvious, as you said, with like, at the end of the day, it's like my. I think every human being just needs to do the things that they said they want to do. And on that particular day, I was looking for some kind of confirmation from the outside that it's okay. It's like not having all the answers and all this. Like the alternative would have literally been to work. It wouldn't. And I did that. At the end of the day, it just took me 8 hours longer. It's like, well, that's fine. And everything worked really well afterwards. But it's just like one day. Maybe it's also connected to like when you take on other people's burden, like in the previous days, and then you're like carrying around energy that is not necessarily yours, and you bring that to work, then it can have like consequences. And it's like the alternative is literally to sit on that cushion, like in the morning. It's like I'm just noticing it. I don't think there's any other way to do it.
How do you decompress? So your phone is a time when you're unconscious, you exercise a lot. What's the middle ground between the unconsciousness of the phone and the kind of the more conscious exercise? What is there some kind of middle ground between them where you can switch off but not be too hard on yourselves for the activity you're doing? Or
No, the cycling is the way. Like there's no, I don't think there is a middle. Like the gym is a half middle ground because it's like you kind of can. It's impossible to be 100% there all the time. Like you are sometimes on your phone. Like cycling is much easier to be 100% there
in the moment.
Yes.
What makes you strive for consciousness?
It's like I just noticed that my life got exponentially better since I do it.
Okay.
It's like there's no like I can show up better for people around me, including people at work, when I notice what's going on around me and what's going on inside me at the same time. I can show up better in my relationships. I suffer less. I suffer. Maybe I suffer the same, but I follow the suffering less. I think it's less about me. Like the more aware you are, the less you make things about yourself. And I don't like. I made things about myself for far too long.
I feel like you're someone who pushes yourself a lot, like physically, in terms of your expectations of what should be done, of what you will do. You're like your own kind of motivational driving force forwards. Where does your drive, your energy come from?
I'm gonna die. Everyone who I've ever loved will be dead in 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time. Like, yes, I can sit on the couch and enjoy life and look at a few beaches and travel all the countries in the world. I don't have fucking time. Like, I want to be put to good use here. And that means that I want to avoid suffering for myself and for others. And I want to make sure that kids can grow up with present fathers, but I don't want to sit around and be comfortable. Like that doesn't suit well with me because like this will be over like this.
What do you want someone to say about you when you're dead?
He noticed his flaws. He was kind. He was generous. He loved fiercely. I think that if I would get even close to that, I would be more than happy.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
What do you want to be remembered for?
I think I want to be remembered for the feeling that I left people with. I want to be remembered for pushing the boundaries a bit, letting people know that the most authentic version of themselves is the happiest they can be, regardless of how they're perceived in the outside world, by living the most authentically I can, dressing the way that I want, behaving the way that I want, trying to be myself. So it gives other people permission to do the same. I want them to be left with the feeling of like, oh, fuck, he went out in that outfit. I've got an outfit that I could wear. I want to do that. Or he was kind and like, he was very comforting and very physical with men. I want to do that. I want people to be left with that feeling, I suppose. Yeah.
Do you feel that's driving you as well?
Yeah.
So you understand it.
Yeah. Although I think I hold more value in relaxing than you do. I think there's moments where relaxing
I know.
gives you just such a beautiful sense of, like work hard, play hard. But even I feel like you exemplify both of those. You work hard and you play hard. But I think you should relax hard as well, or relax softly, the opposite of hard.
I think we will both need to let ourselves be, because I know also like your way of relaxing drives me nuts sometimes. Like, and I'm like, okay. And I thought this morning, I will let you be however you want. I will not try to make you into the man how I want to be, because that's not fair to you.
Yeah.
And it will lead me nowhere. I will let you be exactly how you are, but I will also not relax more. I'm feeling very, very content with the intensity that I bring, like to my life, to my relationships, and like how I love structure, and I love like things being prepared, and like I love that. And it's like, and when you talked about control, I thought about like, where is this going? It's like, because at the end of the day, I'm like, it's not really about control, but it's like, I love the consciousness factor, and like being really there, noticing things. It's just, I've never in my life been happier, ever. And it's not because I allow myself to sit there and watch Netflix sometimes. Yes, I do. I also stay up until 1 a.m. to do stupid stuff. Yes, but I don't want my life to be defined by it.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. So I feel like this, particularly, I love just letting go. And I think I appreciate chaos quite a lot. I love just the random elements and things and what happens when I think I was having a conversation with someone recently about submission and dominance, and particularly in the bedroom, but more like on a power dynamic level. And the fact that the submissive person sets the framework before you do anything. And that's the control they impose on the situation. They're like, these things are acceptable, these things are not. I'm going to have a word or a phrase and it's going to stop things. This is my control. And then after that, I just completely let go. What power do you think there is in submission?
In the bedroom?
Both, like just more as a concept than anything else.
It brings me back to the beginning. It's like, I feel, I know that I can't control where my life is going. Like I have, letting go is all about that. Like being able to let go and just like relax into the universe and let it breathe through you. Like I feel submissive every day, because I know that all this could go away.
Yeah.
Everything. I could be homeless next month. And it's completely like hypothetical, like there could be a storm, there could be an earthquake, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm prepared for that in a way. It's like I'm prepared that really bad things happen in my life. And I'm okay with that. It's like I'm okay with the loved ones dying. I'm okay with me getting ill. I'm okay with bad things happening, not in a way that I'm pessimistic. I'm not, you know that. But being submissive to the world, I think you need to have a lot of awe and feeling your place in the world, because you're a tiny sandcorn. And you can be washed away by anything. And they're like that. I just know that. Like I can move to Alaska tomorrow. That's the God thing. You can do anything, but you can also be washed away like nothing. I feel that needs to coexist.
So when you're talking about submission, I think for me, the word that comes to mind, the outcomes here, was acceptance. These things may happen, I may die, these things. But I think for me, submission and acceptance are not the same thing. And we may have different ideas or interpretations.
Letting go is not acceptance.
I think submission. Well, there's a good question. What is submission to you? What does it mean?
But letting go is like relaxing into whatever outcome there is. It's not accepting every outcome.
Acceptance. Well, let's define these points, right? Like, let's start with submission. What does submission mean to you? What does it look like in just life in general, just outside the bedroom?
Relaxing and accepting every outcome.
Okay. So relaxation is important for submission.
Well, relaxing like the urge to control. Like you have no control, and like accepting every outcome is just. But let's define. You like definitions on this. Let's define submission as letting go.
As letting go, okay. And you want to take relaxation out there. You want to keep
because
it in?
I feel like you will not. Like relaxation is just has too many
implications around it. Okay, letting go. Okay, so we're defining it then around ideas of control. So domination would be control, submission would be letting go. Is that fair? Or
no, domination for me is actually leadership. It has nothing to do with control.
Okay. So you don't think submission and domination are opposites, or do you think leadership is the opposite of letting go?
No, this can be coexisting. You can lead, but also let go. But like, there's obviously, for me, that's the tendency of like you have one force that is like conscious, and the other one just is free, and it's like a little boat floating on the ocean. You don't have control over the ocean.
Yeah, you're just in it.
Yes.
And the sunlight is like coming in waves, and I'm like, ooh. Okay, so leadership. Let's define what leadership is for you.
Being conscious and achieving an outcome for not just yourself, but for others.
And leadership seems to be an important thing for you.
Yes.
You mention it a lot. It's something you're striving towards.
Yes.
It's something you hold yourself very accountable for. What would say your flaws are as a leader?
I'm learning to be one every day.
So it's a process and growth.
It's not a destination.
No.
It's like I will be learning it for the rest of my life.
Okay. But then what makes a good leader? Like who's someone you look up to, and what qualities of leadership do they have?
People who are kind, who are putting other people first, who are like leadership has nothing to do with like telling people what to do. Nothing.
Yeah.
Leadership has something to do with like achieving an outcome for others and for yourself, but you come second. You really come second. You can't come first. Otherwise, you're just a tyrant or like a crippling king.
So people in power need to put other people first, or it's in positions, because we're exchanging leadership and power, right? You're putting.
But you can lead without power.
Can you?
Yes.
I'm not sure I agree with that, because I think you need.
You can lead on the tube.
How?
When someone is struggling and you are helping first, you're leading.
But you're in a position where you're not struggling. So there is a
But
power
that has
dynamic
not, that
even with that.
not struggling doesn't mean that you're in power.
You have more control and power over the situation than they do, no? There's an element to which they're struggling, so they have a loss of a certain...
Okay, even better. Like
Yeah.
let's say you're all stranded on an island because you all crashed on a plane, and you are bringing people together to search for food. You are all struggling, and you're leading. It's not necessarily that you have more.
But if you are giving if you're like, okay, let's come together, let's go and get food,
You are most likely, so like here it's like you're not saying it, you're searching for food first.
So you're leading by example.
Yes.
Not necessarily with words or voice. So important to you is to lead by example, and then other people will follow you.
Yes.
But don't you think there's a certain power innate to that? Like I look at some people and I'm like, fuck, they're doing great, and there's a certain like power to the way that they are, and that they're being themselves, they're doing what they want to do, they're doing like...
I feel very uncomfortable to associate leadership even with power.
Why though?
Because I feel that I know that in a lot of ways they are connected for a lot of people, and for me they are not connected. I don't like to feel like when I'm truly at my best as a leader, I don't feel powerful at all. It's like, because it has nothing to do with me.
How about how you're perceived? Because I think that plays, whether or not you feel powerful. I think if you're perceived as power, because there's this beautiful phrase that I ran across while reading a book. It was like, someone said, what is power? And where is power? And one of the nice answers that came from it is, power is where power is perceived to be. Power often, there's two types of power. There's a power in, I am strong enough to lift this. That is a very physical indication of power. And there's another power of like, I can get other people to lift things for me, and I think that extended, there's limitations to the idea of what, my body can lift X amount. Yes. I can get myself stronger and stronger. What I can lift can be heavier and heavier. But if I have control over, or if I have the sway over many people, what they can lift is exponentially more. So I think the power in terms of not oneself, but as a manifestation around us, is perhaps the greater of the two. So what if you're perceived as being powerful,
I don't like that word too much.
Why? I want to get to the why you don't like power, because I think power and dynamic, it just exists,
Well, because I know why I don't like it, because I made a fool out of myself for 40 years to make everything about me. And wanting to leave a legacy and wanting to do all this and all that. It's not about you. It's not about you as a person. It's like, all of this will go away, and at the end you will have nothing. And whatever perception people had of you will also disappear the same way you will disappear. So like, I know that is a fact. So I don't like that. Like, I'm okay with having a certain like aura and dynamic, like when people perceive me, but that's more like for fun. It has nothing to do with leadership in itself. Like when I walk through an airport, like I know that I look like someone who is like doing his job and is like on top of his shit. Yes, I know that. And like, I quite enjoy
to me,
that.
That's powerful. But someone who has their shit together.
It's an energy that I like.
Yeah.
But like, I don't associate the word power to it. It's like,
maybe we're arguing semantics.
Yes.
Maybe you have certain associations of power which I don't have.
Yes.
I feel like, for me, someone who's powerful is someone who is representing themselves in the way they wish to be, living the life, and they, an absolute... Someone that's powerful to me is Alan Watts. The way he speaks, the way he has impacted so many people's minds. He has changed their thoughts on things. To me, that's example of the second type of power that I was talking about.
I think it's also connected with how we define men and how they should be.
Mm.
Because yes, I train like a savage.
Yeah.
I'm vulnerable, and I bring both of these worlds together. I like that,
Mm.
but it's like for me, like the word power associates just too much with me that I'm.
It's a heavy word, right?
Yes.
It's got a lot of connotation in the world.
And like to be honest, like I don't like to be judged for it as well. It's like at the end of the day, I can associate myself blindly to leadership, and I know that I need to earn it with every action. Power, you have like a little bit like it's not earned, like it's not.
Okay.
And I like the idea of like earning things through actions.
Okay. So let's go down that route. Why do you have to earn things?
I don't.
You don't? But you said you like earning things.
Well, leadership, yes,
So why do you like earning leadership?
because it's not given to you, man. It's like this is leadership is also not the thing that you earn. It's like it's a skill you need to learn.
Mm. Why is it important to earn leadership to you?
Again, I'm gonna die. It's like nothing in my life come like I will like we can talk in 20 years,
Yeah.
but I will for sure not sitting on my ass and waited for things to come to me. And you need to be proactive in your life and take charge and go for the things you want. Be okay with every outcome in the process, but you can't just sit there and like everything in my life became better when I took leadership, and I mean mostly for my own life.
Yeah.
Like because it means you take responsibility and you are accountable to like. I look through diary entries from when I was 30. And it's quite fascinating because I said I'm going to do some things, and then maybe I did them 3 years later or 4 years later, but I did them. And I don't think my life would be in a good place without leadership. And like, I will die. You will die. Like this will end. There's no getting around that. And yes, you can just wait and be okay with everything. I am to an extent, but the big force of me just doesn't want to let life happen to me and just see, oh yeah, it's cool. I think there's a lot of people who can do that. I will not judge anyone for doing that, but I will not be that person.
Okay. And why? So we're talking a lot about all these things and your justifications and your meanings. And I think the bottom line for me keeps coming up as death.
Yes.
I want to do this thing before I die.
No, it's just like not necessarily this thing, but
grow or do, like the end point seems to be death for
Yes.
quite a lot of it. Why is that something that so fixates you?
Because it's a fact. It's like, have you lost someone close?
Yeah.
That feeling of them being gone, that they're gone for eternity. They will not come back.
Yeah, as far as I know, that's just a hole in my life now.
Yes, so I have thought about death since I'm very young, and I'm very grateful for it because it has enabled my life in unbelievable ways. It's like when you take this for granted that there's no guarantee that you will wake up tomorrow.
No.
There's none. And just knowing that and knowing this deep in your soul, not just philosophically or like conceptually, but knowing it, it's like you will take your last breath at some point. You will inhale and not exhale again.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's just such a universal fact, and I think we are taking it far too fucking granted. Like, and I'm not judging anyone. Everyone should do whatever the fuck they want. But I just
judging yourself.
No, I don't.
It feels like a judgment, no, because you are you're making a judgment on how you use your time. You're like, I need to use this time well. I'm going to die. I need to, you're talking about how you're not judging other people, but then it feels like you're judging yourself.
I think you're looking for a problem where there's none. I'm feeling far more alive than I've ever felt. I feel far more content than I've ever felt.
Yeah.
And the best phases of my life, including this one, have always been when I was very aware this could end.
Yeah.
This will end. It's fine. I'm not clinging to it.
Yeah.
I'm not clinging to death. I'm not clinging to life. I'm just sitting here enjoying this Sunday. I'm doing the best I can. I'm okay when I'm not cycling 15 hours and I'm just doing 12.
Yeah.
I'm doing okay when some things slip and others like come back on. I'm totally okay with that. But what I'm not okay with is that I turn into the unconscious. Let's see that. But because that's a different mindset.
Yeah.
It's an okay mindset for me to be present when the day comes. I had certain days like that where I felt like if I would die tonight, I'm absolutely fucking content. I've seen it. I have seen what I needed to see.
Okay.
I had days like this, and they are always directly correlated, not with amazing things that happen, not with the best food I ever ate,
Yeah.
but they have been connected to how conscious did I feel and how connected did I feel with myself. And it's like the more days like this I can accumulate, where I'm feeling like I've done everything I could. This is just directly correlated with happiness. So I don't think there's anything where I'm not judging myself.
Okay. How about, can someone live a good life if they live an unconscious life?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, everyone should be doing whatever they want.
I'm not sure I agree there, even. I think the more someone looks at their own life, the more they will have a better life because their choices become conscious. They make the decisions there. I think that I try not to be judgmental with people's life, but it's difficult, right?
But yes, but I try not to judge people, but it's difficult. I like that line.
It really is. You're the one point of reference you have for the world. You know what I mean? You're the static point of reference. You do move, and what you have and your thoughts and your feelings change. But the way that I see the world is mine, and the way that I see you is through my eyes. So my point of understanding you is through my eyes, through my brain, through my experience. So I think that we've got to be careful, but I think judgments are useful.
I try to. I think I will disagree here. Because judgments at the end of the day is, yes, they're a reflection of your own self, but at the end of the day, they will not benefit anyone.
I think for me, the strong point is allowing your judgments to change, not being too rooted in them.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Like seeing judgments as like the weather, I totally agree with. It's like it changes. It's not static. It's it's also probably not real. It's like it's just a passing experience because at the end of the day,
we're made up of these passing experiences.
Yes, but like on the other hand, it's like what you do with these judgments, and like how much do you let them come through? How much do you let your experience taint them? I think that's the important bit, because I noticed this with myself, with others, because especially when people are not that structured or not that accountable, like there's a lot in me that wants to speak up sometimes, change things, help them. And I felt more and more, I'm feeling more and more that I need to let people be.
Whatever. It's hard.
Well, yes, I know.
I've got examples within my siblings where I like place certain expectations upon them, and I'm like, you should do this, you know what I mean? And to step back and be like, actually, you should live the life, because it's often not setting expectations upon the person, it's setting expectations upon yourself, right?
Yes.
So this is the correct way to do it. This is how I should do it. Therefore, this is the way other people should do it. Yes. For me, then it comes back to control. It's exerting some degree of control on the world around you. And I don't know, but you talk a lot about the duality between having complete control over yourself and having no control. But what does that mean? Like, how does that play out in life? You definitely talk about things could happen, this could happen, I could die, this, but what does that look like on the day to day?
It's like you go for things with a certain drive.
Yeah.
And you're okay with them not working out, but you're not using it as an excuse that they didn't work out. So I like to challenge the universe.
Okay.
And to poke it and to see what happens. What happens if I do this over here? Well, like this format is like poking the universe. I don't know why we're doing it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like I gave up control. I'm showing up every month, but I give up complete control to what it could result in. Because it's just, but I need to show up. Like I can't sit in the back seat and argue with you why we're not doing it. Like, although parts of me want to, but like I'm keep showing up, and I do this in other parts as well. But I'm also okay with when they're not going anywhere specifically. That's the most practical. Like, and it's just showing up, being okay with every outcome. Showing up, being okay with every outcome.
Okay. I like the idea of just being open and flexible to the world, just showing up. I think that's really important to me as well. It's just like doing something and then not placing too many heavy expectations upon it, because I think you constrain your outcomes. The more you have expectations upon the situation, the more you constrain the possible outcomes that can come from it. The more you walk into a situation with and I mean, this is a balance, right? Because I think there's only a certain amount of constraints you can take away, because we are human. There is just a degree to which we enter situations. I don't think we can be like the wind. I don't think we can just blow. And I think us not being like the wind makes us beautiful, because there's a certain amount of uniqueness in our decision making and who we are and how we live life, all of us, that gives a certain beauty to that.
How did that conversation go for you today? Like, did it go as you had imagined it?
No. No.
What did you imagine?
It's hard to. So you talked a lot about last time about being challenged more.
Yes.
And I'm trying to bring that forwards more.
And I'm grateful for that, by the way.
I'm still working on it for sure. Like, it's definitely not something that comes super naturally to me. But it's nice. I think we went in different directions than I was expecting.
I'm just, what I noticed is, like, I think you were looking for.
I was looking to push.
Yes, and which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I will let you be. What I noticed, though, is that you were looking for a hole in the thing that I thought about for many, 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 many years.
Yeah.
And which is completely fine. And there is probably, like, we can talk about, like, childhood trauma, and you can push me there all you want.
Yeah.
But I feel like the end where I ended up here is like a philosophy that, like, or more like, it's more not even a philosophy, it's like more a knowing.
Yeah.
Where I feel so settled that it's like there's the core essence of it is not like really something that you can blow off a tree. You know what I mean?
So you're quite unshakable in the faith of this.
Yes, yeah, like very much so. Like, because I feel very like you can't talk about anything more true than death.
Like, well, I think for me, death is so intangible. Death is so. I've never been afraid of death. I've never been afraid of dying. I've been put in some really stupid situations where I've done things other people won't do because they're scared of death. And I think, I don't know where this comes from, but I've never, like, a lot of people fixate on death. Some people want to run away from it. I've never, ever felt that. I definitely feel for my own safety. I don't I'm not just going to throw myself off a bridge, but I will jump between a bridge and something else. Like I will do that because I don't know why, but I feel like death for me, thinking about it, for me personally, is missing the point of living. If I'm looking at the end, then I'm not looking around me much. The less I think about it, the more that I'm here.
See, and like for me, it's like the more I keep it front and center, the more I'm here.
Oh, nice.
Because like I don't walk around and like when you like if someone told you it's like this is your last month on Earth, you would be fuck ton more present.
I think there's a few things in life that I'd like to change, and I'm working on changing them. Yeah. But apart from that, I love my life.
No,
I know. But
I'm saying like I'm not saying you should change your life.
No, yeah.
But
you
like
would be more present.
You would see a lot more things.
I think part of me would want to just go and lay in the sun.
I mean, like that.
You know what I mean?
But that's total. And I know you're doing that.
Yeah.
But like, my whole aspiration of like keeping that front and center is like to be reminded. It's like, yes, you should be sitting in the sun. It's like I'm working more right now, but it's not the center of my life. I'm still like extremely connected with everything, with people around me, and I'm enjoying that balance. But again, for me, it's like death is a soil for life. It's like fertilizer. That just reminding me is like this will end. So be graceful in like what you have.
I like that sentence. Death is the fertilizer for life, because I mean, in the very physical sense, it is.
Yeah.
But then, just in the metaphorical sense, like having a death of yourself, like a death of who you are, allows you to grow into someone new. This idea of not clinging on too tightly to anything. Yes. That's a nice point. I really like it. I think my philosophy, though, I think where we came to a bit of a head is there's always a hole in something. There's always something that just doesn't quite mesh. Doesn't matter. We could talk about anything.
I'm happy to be pushed on that. But
yeah.
It was very clear that you were looking for a hole.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and maybe just for the sake of the hole.
Yeah.
And for the actual.
Well, I think one exists.
Okay.
I think where we were coming to. I think you don't think one exists, and I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that my philosophy is not then a judgment on you. My philosophy is holes exist everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Like nothing is infallible from speculation.
Well, I'm happy to be pushed. How do you want to close this up?
What's going to be alive for you in the next few weeks? Like what goals do you want to set? How do you want this to?
Yes. I will focus some more on work. I will do this for another few months, where it's like more intensity on it. Everything else stays mostly the same. It's like exercise, keeping it. I'm reading less at the moment, which I don't mind or care about. Because it was also a little bit of an escape. A few work things planned in the next few weeks. What I want to do more of, and which I hold myself accountable to, is becoming more engaged in the men's health universe. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm actively working on it and like trying to figure out. Like, I joined like a few organizations now, and I'm very happy with that. I'm continuing to do my mentoring, but I want to be a little bit creative in my way, how I express myself, and add value to that conversation.
Yeah.
And but everything else, like habit-wise, I'm on track like I've never been in my life.
Amazing.
What about you?
I think I've given myself a day in which, this Sunday, up until then, I'm doing absolutely fuck all. And I've really enjoyed doing that. And then from then onwards, I'll start on properly with the new project of the school, which is already going, but I'll start working more of my energy on it. I will start painting again at least 5 times a week. My exercise regime has been pretty good, so I'm happy there. My time alone, like spending time alone, has been good. I tried painting to nothing. Didn't work. I don't know whether I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I don't know. It hasn't. I'll try it again a few times and see if that's good. Maybe I need stimulus. Maybe I don't. I'm not really sure, but I'll try it a few times, see if it works.
So what is the one ambitious thing that you want to have done in 4 weeks?
I'm going to also be applying for loads of jobs. I think if I could I don't know whether I'll get a job in the next 4 weeks, but if I could find places that I would like to have work, particularly like alternate schooling places, and apply for loads of teaching roles there, and yeah, something to do with art teaching next year.
Yes.
Really get that settled.
How can I hold you accountable to it?
I think the way we were doing in the beginning, checking up a few times on each other, was really good. And I think for me, especially, that would help. Just a message here and there. Because I can often be lost and scattered in lots of different places.
I know.
How can I hold you accountable?
You will, I will probably share more outward on social media as well.
Okay, nice.
So I don't know yet what that looks like, but I want to express myself a little bit more openly. You will see probably something from me.
Nice.
The other stuff, because work is just just requires focus. If you can hold me accountable if I would, for whatever reason, share all of a sudden a bunch of memes on Instagram with you and send you Netflix series, then you would probably know something is off, but I doubt that will happen. So it's more just generally, at the moment, my support network is quite solid, when it comes to accountability.
Yeah.
Not much you can do at the moment.
Okay.
But thank you.
You're welcome. Until next time.
Until next time, I love you very much, Jolly.
I love you too.
I hope